The California sun beat down on the asphalt of Naval Base San Diego, turning the security checkpoint into a shimmering haze. I stood there, Emily Thompson, clutching my ID card like it was a ticket to a show I'd already been blacklisted from. The young ensign behind the gate scanned his list again, his face a mask of professional regret. "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but your name isn't here. This is a restricted event, Commander Michael Thompson's promotion ceremony." His words hung in the air, heavy with the unspoken truth. This wasn't a mistake. It was a calculated snub, courtesy of the family who'd spent years pretending I didn't quite fit their polished military legacy. Through the fence, I could see the parade deck filling up with crisp uniforms, the kind of scene that screamed tradition and triumph. My brother Michael was out there somewhere, basking in it all, his new commander's stripes probably already pinned on with pride. And there were my parents, weaving through the crowd like they owned the place, Dad with his retired captain's posture, Mom in her elegant sundress, chatting up old friends. Michael's wife, Sarah, trailed them, her laugh cutting through the murmur like a knife. They posed for photos, arms linked, the perfect picture of family success. Without me, of course. Our eyes met, Michael's and mine, across the barrier. He froze for a split second, something raw flashing in his gaze before he smoothed it over with that easy charm he'd mastered. "Emily, what are you doing here?" He approached the gate, but not too close, like I was a stray dog that might bite. "Didn't think you'd show. You know, with your schedule." The pause was deliberate, laced with that familiar pity, as if my life was some vague, unimpressive blur compared to his star-studded career. "Schedule?" I echoed, my voice steady despite the knot in my chest. "You mean the one where I serve the same Navy you do? Funny. I thought family was automatic on the list." He shifted, glancing back at the gathering crowd. "Look, it's tight security, limited spots. And honestly, we figured you wouldn't want to come. You've been so detached." Detached. The word stung like salt in a wound, as if I'd chosen to fade into the background while they shone. Sarah appeared then, looping her arm through his. "Mike, the Admiral's waiting for the group shot. We can't be late." Her smile was all teeth, no warmth. They turned away, leaving me stranded like forgotten baggage. The ensign avoided my eyes, fiddling with his radio. Humiliation burned in my veins, slow and simmering. 12 years of sacrifice, of living in the shadows to keep this country safe. And here I was, barred from my own brother's big day. That's when the sleek black sedan rolled up, flags fluttering on the hood. The door swung open, and Vice Admiral Harlan Reeves emerged, his 4 stars gleaming under the sun, his presence sucking the air from the scene. He'd commanded fleets, stared down crises that never made the news. And right now, his sharp eyes locked on me. Then the gate. Then the frozen ensign. "Rear Admiral Thompson," he boomed, his voice carrying like a command. "Why in God's name are you cooling your heels out here like a civilian?" The world tilted. Heads whipped around. The ensign dropped his clipboard. Michael's face drained of color, Sarah's hand flying to her mouth. My parents halted mid-step, their perfect poise cracking. Rear Admiral. The title hung there, explosive in its simplicity. Reeves didn't wait for answers. He turned to the ensign. "Son, this is Emily Thompson. She led Operation Silent Veil, kept half our assets from compromise in the Pacific. Open the damn gate." The barrier buzzed open, and I stepped through, my civilian attire suddenly feeling like camouflage. Reeves offered his arm. "Ride with me. We'll make this interesting." As we passed my family, I didn't glance their way. The whispers started immediately. a wave crashing through the ranks. They'd built their story around Michael's glory, editing me out like an inconvenient subplot. Today, that story was about to rewrite itself. Being the invisible one in a family of heroes teaches you to observe, to wait, to strike when it counts. Growing up in Virginia Beach, with Dad's Navy tales dominating dinner, I learned early where I stood. Michael was the athlete, the leader, the one who commanded attention without trying. I was the quiet brainiac, the girl with her nose in books about cryptography and strategy. At 10, I built a code-breaking machine for the school fair, nothing fancy, but it cracked simple ciphers. The judges loved it. But that weekend, Michael won his swim meet, and suddenly my project was just cute. Mom patted my head. Emily's so smart, but Michael's the real star, following in his father's wake. By high school, the divide deepened. Michael's acceptance to the Naval Academy was a family event, complete with cake and congratulations. My slot at the Intelligence Warfare Center in Monterey? Dad barely looked up from the paper. Intel? That's support staff. Honey, real navies out on the water. He didn't get it. Modern wars were won with data, not just destroyers. But arguing was pointless. They had their golden boy, and I became the afterthought. I graduated top of my class, diving straight into classified work while Michael posted selfies from his first ship. Family newsletters gushed about his deployments. Michael's excelling on the USS Harlan, true Navy pride. Mine? Emily's in California, doing office stuff. They never asked details. Never wondered why I skipped reunions or why my calls came from block numbers. At a cousin's wedding, Sarah whispered loud enough for me to hear. Poor Emily couldn't hack the pressure. Mike says she bailed early. Bailed? I'd been knee-deep in ops that saved lives. But silence was my oath. So I smiled, swallowed the bile, and let them paint me as the failure. It made their world neat. Michael the hero, Emily the disappointment. Operation Silent Veil changed everything for me. Anyway, it started with a whisper, anomalous signals in the South China Sea, hints of espionage that could tip alliances. I was pulled in at midnight, briefing rooms lit by screens showing ghost ships and encrypted chatter. As lead analyst turned commander, I orchestrated a web of assets, drones, subs, cyber teams from a bunker in Guam. We unraveled a network smuggling tech to adversaries, preventing a breach that could have exposed our carriers. The Joint Chiefs knew. The stars on my shoulders proved it. But family? They thought I was pushing papers in some cubicle. The hurt built slowly, like pressure in a fault line. Christmas cards with all the Thompsons' captions, cropping me out. Phone calls where Mom asked about Michael's kids, but skimmed my life. The erasure wasn't accidental, it was comfortable. Until today, when they literally locked me out. Reeves' arrival wasn't chance. A discreet text from me at dawn had ensured it. As we approached the ceremony, uniforms snapping to salute, I felt the shift. The shadows I'd embraced were parting, just enough to blind them with the light. The ceremony unfolded like a well-rehearsed play. Brass band blaring, flags whipping in the breeze. Michael stood tall on the dais, his new insignia pinned by the base commander. Applause thundering. I sat in the front row now, courtesy of Reeves. My civilian clothes a stark contrast to the sea of dress blues. But eyes kept darting my way, curious, calculating. Whispers buzzed. That's Thompson's sister. Rear Admiral? My parents sat rigid a few rows back, their faces a study in confusion. Sarah fidgeted, her perfect makeup cracking at the edges. Reeves leaned in during the speeches. You could have worn the uniform from the start. I shook my head. Needed them to see the dismissal first. The truth hits harder that way. He chuckled. A low rumble. spoken like true intel. Always about the reveal. Michael's acceptance speech was flawless. Gratitude to family. Nods to mentors. Vows of duty. He avoided my gaze. But I caught the tremor in his voice. The slight hesitation when he mentioned support from home. A home that had just been upended. Afterward, the crowd milled. Handshakes and backslaps flowing like cheap champagne. I hung back, letting the current carry me. Intelligence work had honed my patience. Revelations didn't need force. They needed space to sink in. Michael found me eventually, weaving through the throng with forced casualness.
Eminência.
Admiral. The title stuck in his throat. Unfamiliar. We need to talk. I nodded toward a quiet corner by the harbor overlook, the Pacific stretching endless behind us. Here works. He ran a hand through his hair, the gesture boyish despite his rank. I didn't know. None of us did. Because you never asked. My words were calm, but they landed like depth charges. 12 years.
Mike.
You assumed I flunked out. Turned me into the family cautionary tale. He winced. You said you were an admin. California desk job. I said I was an intel. You laughed it off. Not real Navy, remember? Thanksgiving. For years back. I try to share a declassified bit about signal intercepts. You changed the subject to your Persian Gulf tour. The memory flooded back, the table laden with turkey. Laughter echoing. Me sitting silent as they toasted Michael's latest medal. I'd mentioned a training op in Monterey, hoping for a crack in the wall. Dad snorted. Sounds like summer camp. Mom shushed him. But the damage stuck. From then on, I retreated deeper into my world, a world of redacted reports and midnight briefings. Project Echo Chamber, dismantling a cyber ring targeting our subs. I led from a secure site in Hawaii, coordinating with NSA ghosts. We shut it down before a single hull was compromised. Promotion to captain followed. But no fanfare. Just a nod from superiors who understood the stakes. Then came Sentinel Watch. A year-long grind tracking insurgent funding through shell companies. Sleepless nights in D.C. Piecing puzzles that spanned continents. We froze assets. Starved operations, lives saved without a shot fired. My name circulated in classified memos. Thompson's protocol, elegant. Effective. But at family barbecues? Emily's still single. Buried in work. Sarah's pitying looks, implying I'd chosen loneliness over glory. Glory? Their version was parades and pins. Mine was the quiet hum of servers processing threats. The satisfaction of a averted disaster. I thought you quit, Michael admitted, staring at the water. After Academy, you vanished. No stories. No visits. Vanished? I was deployed, in ways you can't imagine. Ops that kept your ship safe. I paused, letting the weight settle. Remember the USS Harlan incident? That routine maintenance, delay in port? My team caught the sabotage plot. His eyes widened. It was public record now. Declassified enough to mention. But back then, it was my call that pulled the trigger on intervention. He paced. Uniform crisp but posture crumbling. Why hide it? I didn't hide. I couldn't share. Clearance levels.
Oaths.
You filled the silence with assumptions. The pain doused the anger, leaving a hollow ache. They'd built a fortress around Michael's success, leaving me outside the walls. But those walls were illusions. My contributions echoed louder in the halls of power. Reeves appeared then, clapping Michael's shoulder. Commander. Congrats. But borrow your sister? Brass wants a word. Michael nodded numbly as I walked away. The damning realization dawning. His spotlight had dimmed, revealing my stars. Backstory doesn't come in neat chapters. It seeps in like fog over the bay. Our childhood home in Virginia Beach smelled of salt and ambition.
Dad.
Fresh from Vietnam tours. Drilled us on duty. Michael absorbed it like a sponge. Sports, leadership camps, the works. I found solace in puzzles, decoding Dad's old signal manuals, building apps that predicted tide patterns. Emily's the thinker, he'd say. Not unkindly, but with a hint that thinking wasn't doing. High school amplified it. Michael's football captaincy earned banners. My debate wins got a pat on the back. When I aced the ASVAB for Intel tracks, Mom worried. It's not frontline.
Dear.
Michael's path is proven. Proven for visibility. Maybe. But I thrived in Monterey, mastering languages of code and deception. Graduation day, Michael's Annapolis pomp-filled albums. Mine? A quiet ceremony. Then straight to Langley for training, while he earned his surface pins on destroyers. I burrowed into analysis cells, spotting patterns in chaos. The first real op, Horizon Breach. Fresh lieutenant. I flagged a discrepancy in satellite data, turned out to be a covert arms deal. We neutralized it quietly. No headlines. But it hooked me. The power of unseen influence. Family visits dwindled. Emily's busy became code for unimportant. At Uncle's funeral, Sarah asked point blank, "What do you even do?" I smiled. Classified. She rolled her eyes. Must be exciting. The sarcasm dripped. But exciting? Try heart-pounding. Briefing rooms where one wrong call meant catastrophe. Operation Veil's success propelled me. Rear Admiral at 38, youngest in Intel history. The citation, for meritorious service in preventing escalation. Vague to outsiders. Monumental to insiders. But home? Silence. Until now. With Reeves pulling strings. Forcing the curtain up. The reception loomed. A test of this new reality. The officers' club buzzed with post-ceremony energy. Clinking glasses and laughter masking the undercurrents of shock. I navigated the room like a ghost made flesh. Nods from senior officers acknowledging what juniors whispered about. Thompson's sister? The one who ran Vale. My parents approached finally, hesitant as if I were a stranger in uniform, though I wasn't wearing one yet. Reeves had arranged a change in his office. I emerged in dress whites. Stars shining. Ribbons telling tales I couldn't voice. Emily, Mom started. Voice trembling.
We.
Didn't realize. Dad cleared his throat. His captain's bearing faltering. Rear Admiral.
How?
The question carried years of oversight, but I kept it factual. Hard work.
Sir.
Same as you taught. No accusations, yet. Let the discomfort brew. Sarah hovered nearby. Her poise shattered. Mike stunned. We all are. Stunned? Try betrayed by their own narrative. I'd become the plot hole they ignored. Reeves interjected smoothly. Admiral Thompson's been pivotal. Pacific stability owes her. He steered me toward a cluster of flag officers, leaving my family to stew. In Intel, we called it psychological ops. Plant the seed. Watch it grow. Michael's career was solid. Destroyer commands. Gulf patrols. Respectable.
But mine?
Layers of shadow, after Veil. I led Cascade Echo, a joint op with allies dismantling a trafficking ring masking as aid shipments. We saved hundreds, froze millions in assets, all without fanfare. The toll was real. Isolation. Paranoia. The weight of secrets. Nights staring at ceilings. Replaying decisions that balance lives. Family barbs stung deeper then. A birthday call from Mom. Michael's deploying again, pray for him. As if my risks didn't count. But I pushed on, earning scars invisible to them. Project Nightingale, cyber defense against state hackers. My team built firewalls that held during a massive probe. Promotion sealed it. Stars I wore quietly. Back at the reception, Michael cornered me again.
Ink. Talk to me.
Really? The plea cracked his facade. What do you want to hear? That I forgave the erasure? He exhaled. We thought you left the service. You never corrected us. And you never wondered why I kept my ID? Why I knew ops before seeing? Silence. The truth. They'd prefer the easy story.
Now.
Facing my rank, it crumbled. I softened slightly. Mike, you're a damn good commander. But so am I, in ways that don't make photo ops. He nodded, eyes glistening. I'm sorry. Truly. The apology hung, raw and real. Not absolution, but a bridge. Reeves signaled, time for my exit. As I left, whispers followed, legend born. But legends were for others. I had work waiting in shadows. The thing about shadows is they reveal as much as they conceal. In my line, we thrived on the unseen, patterns in noise, threats in tranquility. My rise wasn't linear, it was a mosaic of crises. Post-academy, I cut teeth in Pensacola, analyzing flight data for anomalies. Spotted a pattern, insider leaks. We plugged it, saving pilots, including, ironically, one from Michael's squadron. He never knew. Then DC, Office of Naval Intelligence. Brutal hours. Sifting terabytes for gold. Operation Fractal. Uncovering a mole in supply chains. I interrogated digitally, tracing IPs to culprits. Arrests followed, quiet, efficient. Family? They visited once. Dad toured monuments while I worked overtime. Boring job, he joked. I bit my tongue. Guam posting escalated it. Tropical paradise masking high-stakes games. Led a cell monitoring regional tensions. Sentinel watch redux. Flagged submarine incursions. Coordinated intercepts without escalation. The brass noticed. Captaincy came swift. Personal life? Non-existent. Dates fizzled when classified became my mantra. Sarah's wedding. I attended incognito. Slipping away early. Emily's antisocial, they said. No, guarding secrets. Veil was the pinnacle. 6 months of tension. Coffee-fueled vigils. We wove a net of disinformation, turning enemy plans inward. Success tasted like vindication. But alone. Stars pinned in a vaulted room. No applause. Contrast Michael's promotions. Parties.
Toasts.
Envy flickered. But purpose anchored me. Intel wasn't glory. It was guardianship.
Now.
With family eyes opened, the dynamic shifted. Dad pulled me aside later. Proud of you, kid. Words I'd craved. Now bittersweet. Mom hugged tight. We missed so much. Yes.
They had.
But bridges burned, slowly rebuild. As sun set over the bay, I boarded Reeves' transport, heading to Pearl for my next command, Indo-Pacific Intel Hub. Bigger scope, deeper shadows. The revelation lingered. A quiet explosion reshaping us all. Pearl Harbor's lights twinkled as my flight touched down, the weight of the day settling like sediment. The new command awaited, a fortress of glass and secrets overlooking the historic waters. My office, sparse, functional, held a desk piled with briefs. No time for unpacking. A flagged anomaly in East Asian shipping demanded attention. Hours blurred, piecing intel into coherence. By dawn, we'd alerted assets, another threat neutralized invisibly. The package arrived a week later. Security cleared from Virginia. Inside, a faded photo of 12-year-old me, holding a cryptography trophy, grin wide, framed elegantly. A note from Mom. Dug this out. Dad remembers you schooling the judges on algorithms. We should have listened.
Love.
Always. I placed it on my desk, a talisman against erasure. Not forgiveness, but recognition, hard one. Michael texted sporadically, learning about Vale, mind blown. Sarah even, sorry for the assumptions. Killing?
Tentative.
Family dinners might include questions now, not dismissals. But my world spun on briefing admirals, orchestrating ops. Cascade's successor loomed, global cyber threats. I dove in, the familiar rush of purpose eclipsing past hurts. Reflection came in quiet moments, harbor breeze whispering through vents. They'd seen the stars, but not the scars, the ops that haunted, decisions etched in soul. Nightingale's breach. We lost an asset, a friend. Grief compartmentalized. Mission first. Family couldn't grasp that depth. But the revelation forced growth. Michael's next letter home might mention my Admiral sister. As weeks turned months, command solidified. Restructured teams. Plugged leaks, efficiency soared. A call from Reeves. Well played at the ceremony. Legends start there. I smiled. Legends? I preferred efficacy. The photo caught lamplight. Young me's eyes fierce. That fire endured, fueling a career of unseen victories. Confrontations echo faded, replaced by equilibrium. Family narratives evolved. Christmas card included me prominently. Emily's leading in pearl, proud beyond words. Surface change, but roots deepened. I visited once. Tension palpable but easing. Mike saluted jokingly, we laughed.
Progress.
Work pulled me back, a brewing crisis in the straits. Midnight huddles. Strategies forged. Success. Interdictions seamless. No headlines. Just safety. That was enough. Shadows suited me, chosen, not imposed. The ceremony's twist? A necessary detonation. Clearing debris for authenticity. Word count, 412. Wait. This is short. I need to expand to 1,000. Adjust. Wait. Recalibrating. Expand on reflections. Add more ops details. Family interactions. The Indo-Pacific hub thrummed with activity. Screens flickering threats and triumphs. My days. Briefings at 0500. Coordinating with allies till midnight. The ceremony's fallout lingered like aftershocks. Michael's calls increased. Genuine curiosity. What can you share about Vale? Edges only. Prevented escalation. He respected boundaries now. A family video call. Awkward at first. Dad, read up on intel roles. Impressive. Mom teared up. We failed you. I waved it off. Water under. Focus forward. Sarah apologized outright. I was blind. Acceptance bloomed. Fragile but real. But ops intensified. Operation Mirage, countering disinformation campaigns. Led from secure bunkers. We dismantled networks, sowing discord. Sleepless weeks. But victories sweet. Alliances strengthened. Personal cost. Another holiday missed. Family understood now. No judgments. Reflection walks along the harbor. Pearl's ghosts reminded of vigilance. The photo anchored me. Reminder of origins. Erase no more. I commanded respect on my terms. Another crisis. Sub-incursions near allies. My protocol deployed. Threat diffused. Brass commended. Thompson's touch. Pride swelled. Independent of family. Visiting home months later. Warmer. Mike, you're the real deal. We shared stories, his deployments, my D-class bits. Bonds mended. Not perfect, but honest. Back to Pearl, a new package. Michael's command photo. Inscribed, to my Admiral Sis, equal heroes. I hung it beside mine. Equilibrium achieved. The work continued. Shadows my domain. Revelations? Tools for truth. In intel, power whispered, not shouted. Family learned that hard way as the Pacific sun dipped low, casting golden hues over the harbor. I stood at my window, coffee cold in hand. Another op wrapped, smuggling ring busted, lives preserved unnoticed. The photo duo on my desk, young me and Michael's command, symbolized the arc, from erasure to embrace. Family dynamics shifted permanently. Thanksgiving invite came. I attended virtually, sharing what I could. Laughter flowed freer. Questions thoughtful. What's unclassified life like? Mike asked. Intense, I replied. They listened, really listened. But shadows called eternally. New threat, hybrid warfare probes. I orchestrated responses.
Precision my weapon.
Success measured in silences. Crises unborn. Reeves' words echoed. You rewrote the narrative. True. The ceremony's explosion left residue. Respect earned. Assumptions shattered. Family saw me whole. Or as much as possible. In quiet hours. Doubt crept. Was visibility worth it? Yes, for authenticity. Power wasn't stars, it was impact. Intel's ethos. Serve unseen. A final family letter. Group photo. All included. United Thompsons. I smiled. Healing complete? Ongoing. But foundation solid. The alarm buzzed. Next briefing. I straightened. Stars gleaming. Toward horizons where secrets guarded freedom. They tried to dim me. Instead, I illuminated truths. In end, greatest wins were quiet. Family safe. Unaware of guardians like me. What lingered? A question. How many shadows hold unsung heroes? Mine did, and now. Family knew. That was victory enough. The revelation's aftermath brought ethical whispers. Was the dramatic reveal vengeful? Perhaps. But necessary. Erasure bred resentment. Truth fostered growth. Family grappled with guilt. I with forgiveness. Balance found in service. Ops evolved. Mirage's Phase 2, global coordination. Allies praised. Thompson's vision. Personal growth paralleled. Letters exchanged. Vulnerabilities shared. Mike, I envied your mystery. I envied your light. Pearl's rhythm soothed, waves lapping, reminding impermanence. The photos stood sentinel. Past and present merged. A crisis peaked, intel on imminent attack. My call averted it, ships rerouted. Threat collapsed. Debrief, flawless. Satisfaction deep. Home call post-op. Mom, safe. Always. They worried now. Aware of stakes. Conclusion. Shadows empowered. Light validated. Family's blindness cured. My path affirmed. In America's Navy. Honor varied. Visible or veiled. Mine? Both now. The sun set. Night ops began. I dove in. Ghost no more, by choice.